Hello and welcome to another whiteboard training video. Today I'm talking to you about resumes, the biggest resume blunders, the mistakes that PhDs make that keep them from getting callbacks, as in a phone screen. In today's hiring market, employers, when they find a resume they like, they're going to call you right away. Sometimes they won't even contact you first before calling you. However, if you make these mistakes, you're not going to get any calls. So if you're not getting called by employers, you're not getting contacted by hiring managers, recruiters, you got to listen to this. The most important two, I'm going to tell you at the very end, so watch the full video. The first one, prioritizing education. I recently gave a series of seminars where afterwards I sat down with a handful of the people who attended and I went through their resumes. Every single one, because they're PhDs, put their education at the top. It makes sense because as a PhD, you prioritize education. It's all you know, it's all you think about, especially if you don't have any industry experience after getting your advanced degree. Why is this a problem? Employers, it's not what they prioritize. They prioritize your results, your work experience. When they see your education at the top, it makes no sense to them. It's completely wrong. It signals right away you're just an academic, you're confused, you don't understand what's important to them, your audience. Do not put your education at the top. Number two, outdated contact info. So the top of your resume, the top 1/3 of the first page, in the industry of hiring, it's known as your visual center. It's the most important information. It should have your top 3 career highlights and your contact info. By the way, we're going to go through all of this on a very special resume webinar next week. It's going to be next Thursday, 1 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will put this information above in the text after the video is over. Your contact info, again, the biggest mistake that PhDs make is they don't have updated contact info, or they don't have their notifications turned on for the contact info that they're listing on their resume. You have to have your LinkedIn URL, you have to have your phone number, and you have to have an email address. Those 3 things. They can contact you in whichever way they please. You're making it as easy as possible. You need to have LinkedIn on your smartphone, on your computer with the notifications turned on, so if they contact you there, you're seeing it. You have to have your phone turned on, at least on vibrate, so that you can call them back within an hour, right? So if you're working in the lab doing something, it's fine, but you have to call them back within an hour. Ideally, you'd answer the phone. You have to be ready to answer the phone. You're probably used to not answering phone calls from numbers you don't know, but if you're in the job market, answer them, and make sure your email alerts are turned on too. Number 3, focusing on technical skills. Focusing on technical skills. So as a PhD, you have learned to value your niche technical field. It could be in the life sciences, physical sciences, engineering, mathematics, etc., humanities. Doesn't matter. It's all technical. It's specific. And we focus on very small niches in academia, and we learn everything about them. And the more detailed words that we know about the protein interaction that we study, or the programming language, whatever, the smarter, the more intelligent. It's just what's valued in academia. It's not what's valued in industry, especially to the person who's going to be giving you that first callback. Most hiring managers, most recruiters, they do not have your level of technical experience. They probably have no technical experience. They don't have PhDs. Over 99% of them do not have PhDs, between 99 and 95% do not have PhDs, okay? So that means you're talking to somebody with no technical expertise, they're reading your resume, they see a bunch of technical jargon only, they don't see any transferable skills, they're not going to call you. What they're concerned about, especially at the initial phase, and these are for the initial gatekeepers, the hiring managers, the recruiters, they want to know that you have transferable skills. Skills like information processing, which just means you learn quickly, and as a PhD you do. Your ability to collect data and information, that's research. Have you even put this on your resume? You probably think research sounds basic. Data collection, information collection sounds too basic, so it's not important. It's basic, but it's very rare. It's basic to you because you're a PhD and you're surrounded by all other PhDs that can do it. But less than 2% of the population has a PhD. It's a very rare skill. How about data analysis, information analysis? Being able to draw conclusions from data and information, work ethic, initiative. These things are so important that it's a red flag to employers if they're not on your resume. You have to speak in terms of transferable skills. I'm going to talk a lot about this on next week's webinar, Thursday, 1 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Blocks of text. Remember at the beginning of this video when I told you I did all of those resume reviews, what I saw over and over again was big blocks of text. Things that nobody would want to start to read because people skim resumes, they don't read them. They don't read them carefully from left to right. They skim them from top to bottom like this. There's eye tracking studies that show this. In fact, those eye tracking studies show that people skim in an F formation. So they actually do a quick skim across the top, they skim all the way down, and they go back up and skim across the top one more time, forming an F. Either way, it means that a block of text is going to make it very hard for them to find the information they want, which are those transferable skills, as well as something I'm going to tell you at the very end. Number 5, this is a big one. I see PhDs do this all the time. Odd and variable formatting. For example, you start the top of your resume using square bullet points. Then, in your work experience, you'd use round bullet points. Why would you do this? It's confusing. There's too much going on. They're spending 5 to 7 seconds on it, and you can't even choose the type of bullet point to use. Or you're putting in tables with a bunch of lines everywhere. Don't use tables. Use bullet points only. You're changing your fonts all over the place. Now, if your contact info, your name's a different size font, that's the only case where you should have a different font. Everything else should be the exact same font. Some people indent certain sections this far, and they indent other sections this far. It's a mess. Don't do that. Make it very basic, very easy to follow, very structured, very simple. The same bullet points, the same type of bullet points. Don't go from numbers to bullet points. Stay consistent. Number 6, nothing non-STEM. Now, a lot of you are STEM PhDs, and whether you know it or not, STEM actually includes the social sciences, not just science, technology, engineering, and math, but life sciences, physical sciences, social sciences, engineering, everything but a very rare type of classical humanities. Even if you're in the humanities, it doesn't matter. The point is, don't just focus on your PhD background, your technical skills. Have something that's outside of STEM, something that's outside of your discipline that you do. Maybe it's something you volunteer in, a hobby, etc. The very last line on your resume in your awards and hobbies section should be something that anyone can identify with, especially the person that's going to be giving you that initial callback. The person that's going to be giving you that phone screen, the hiring manager, the recruiter who has no technical expertise. Put that you like to hike or spend time outdoors, or you have a hobby or an instrument, or you volunteered somewhere for a sport. So they have something to start with. Because that first phone screen, that phone call is going to be a very casual conversation, not so much about your technical skills. It's going to be about who you are as a person, what you do outside of your technical skills. Number 7, numerical values, okay? As in like writing out 10 or 17.5, not the numbers. People's eyes stop on numbers, on the actual numerical value. Don't write out 10 TEN, show the number 10. People will spend more time on your resume. And you have to use these numbers in conjunction with your results. That's the last thing, tangible results. The most important thing on your resume are results that show the employer, number 1, you know how to speak in terms of results. Number 2, you know what they care about in industry, which is results. Everything in industry is performance-based. They don't care about seniority. They don't care about prestige, everything that academia cares about. If you're tenure, whatever, they want to know what you can achieve for them right when you get hired. So you have to show them that you've actually achieved stuff in the past. Don't just list your job duties and methodologies. Somebody sees a resume like that, you're never going to get a call. You have to have results. Make sure they're quantified so their eyes go to those results, and then make sure they're tangible, okay? Tangible results. A good way to figure out a tangible result is at the end of every bullet point, ask the question, so what? I see this over and over again on PhD resumes. I have 10 years of expertise in molecular biology, and I've done this methodology and this methodology. The end. So what? What have you accomplished in your 10 years of experience? You better say resulting in 2 publications, or 3 presentations, or 5 collaborations, or 7 discoveries, or the identification of 3 new methodologies, or the innovation or optimization of different methodologies or systems or protocols, led to getting this grant money or this grant package. Actual results that you can quantify, things that are tangible, that matter. Oh, 3 presentations, okay, great. 3 well-received presentations at XYZ conferences, even better. Keep asking yourself, so what, until you get to that last tangible result that makes them say, oh, they have achieved something, they understand the importance of achievement. The final thing is, make these results and everything on your resume relevant to the position that you want. Make it front-facing and future-pacing. If you don't know what those are, that's okay. I'm going to talk about them next week. Special resume webinar, lots of new content next Thursday, 1 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll put the date and all the relevant info in the text above this. As always, remember your value as a PhD and start thinking and acting like a successful industry professional.